For me, kayak fishing is simple. A boat, a paddle, a fishing rod, and unspoiled water. The fish are big. The chaos is beautiful. It's angling's addictive final frontier, and I'm hooked. I'm Drew Gregory, and this is Hooked on Wild Waters.
Drew Gregory's Hooked on Wild Waters has been brought to you by River Bassin Tournament Trail. No egos, just fun. Jackson Kayak, we make fun. GoPro, be a hero. Bending Branches, pretty, smart paddles. Orion Coolers, never lose your cool. 13 Fishing, make your own luck. Z-Man Lures, the science and art of fishing.
There we go. Definitely need this. Can't get very far without it. And believe me, I'm gonna need this paddle today because we are headed on one of the wildest adventures I've ever been on. You know, have you ever heard of a river that's a mile wide, filled with grass islands, you know, rocky shoals and rapids? It sounds perfect for smallmouth, right? Perfect river bassin. Well, I found one. It's called the Susquehanna River, and we're here today to take you guys on a wild and crazy adventure with Hooked on Wild Waters. So let's go do it. The Susquehanna River is truly one of the most incredible places I've ever been. It's an anomaly when it comes to rivers. It's so odd that a river is this wide and yet this shallow across the entire thing. Most rivers are kind of narrow and they just take their channel, but yet they get deeper. Not the Susquehanna, but it makes for perfect habitat for smallmouth bass with the grassy islands and all the rocks and the rapids and shoals. And today I could not have asked for better weather and clear water, and just the water temperature was probably in the low 70s, and it's hot outside, so I'm actually gonna be able to get out and wade a little bit, get in the water. It's gonna feel amazing. Most importantly, what's gonna feel amazing is a big smallmouth bass on the end of my line. As I make my way up towards this set of rapids, I notice there's some big boulders in the middle of the river. Now this is a textbook spot for smallmouth to be, so I'm making a cast there with a spinnerbait. I'm mimicking the very small fords that I'm seeing jumping around. My spinnerbait blades are about this big. I throw it into this calm spot. It just looked too perfect, and sure enough, a fish right there, right off the bat. Oh, there's one. There we go. It's a good fish too. Feels good. Oh yeah. This is either a really good sign, or it may have jinxed me for the rest of the day. We'll find out. There we go. This is why we come to the Susky. Oh, whoo! These things jump. What is this, Cirque du Soleil? Come on, come on. These things fight so hard. She's probably gonna jump again. It's a good way to lose a fish. But it's fun for us. All right, come on. There we go. Wow, that's a pretty fish right there. Look at that. That's an awesome way to start the day right here. You know, they all feel like they're 4 pounds, but this is what you get, you know, 16.5-inch fish. But that's why we love smallmouth, the hardest fighting of the black bass species, the pound for pound, strongest fighting black bass. And just like every time I get on a river, it's all about learning the pattern, you know, solving the mystery of that day, because every day is different. But these fish are generally going to be in one of about 3 or 4 different places. So we got a lot of swift water here, a lot of rocks breaking the current. A lot of times they're ambushing right on that seam in that swift water. You can see the calm bubbles in between them. There's where they want to sit. They don't want to expend a lot of energy. As you can see, they expend the energy once you hook up with them, which is what we love. Let's let her go. We're starting to learn a little bit about the pattern today. Thank you so much, girl. We'll let you go. All right. Go catch some more. So smallmouth bass, or really any river bass, is just very much an ambush predator. And they're gonna be behind these big boulders like you can see behind me, and I sort of have a ridge running, you know, straight in front of me across the river. And there's these pools, these pockets, very obvious pockets of calm water. And all we're doing is just fishing the current seam between the calm water and the swift water. If you can look at this river from above, you could just see these spots obvious. Now, it's honestly just a numbers game. Sometimes it's like dating, right? It's just a numbers game. You go out on enough dates, eventually, hopefully you're gonna find someone that will put up with you. Well, same here on the river. You gotta keep making enough casts. It's a numbers game. And eventually you're gonna run across some fish that are ambushing right there on those seams. So keep at it, don't give up. It's a lot of fun once you really find them in this pattern. What's unique about the Susquehanna River is you don't necessarily have to do a float trip from point A to point B. It's so wide, you can just go back and forth, upstream a little bit and work your way back down, and you're gonna be there all day long and still not hit all the structure. As I continue to creep my way up, I see another boulder in the same general vicinity of the first boulder I caught a fish on, and I make a cast. It hits the boulder, which is very common. I like to actually throw my lure over the rock and bring it right off the rock. It's very natural, a little bit more quiet. And then I bring it in, and a few cranks later, wham, this awesome, huge smallmouth bass, a Susquehanna special, just nails it. She's jumping, going crazy, fighting hard. I'm thinking, this is just too easy, right? Yeah, that's a good fish. Oh, wow. I'm in smallmouth heaven. Oh, I'm getting pulled out in the current. Need a power pole down. Power pole down. You gotta wear these guys out. You can't just horse them in. I've lost too many big smallmouth horsing them in. I like to play them on the spool too. I've got my release, my bait caster pressed down so I can just kind of control them. Oh great, I'm gonna land on the left-hand side. I feel like Zoolander. I'm not an ambi-lander. You can only go right side. Here we go, we got this fish. Come here, girl. Whoa, one last dive. There we go. Oh, one eye, baby. A one-eyer. Look at that. Big fish, though. Big fish. She smashed the spinnerbait, and I was kind of joking that spot was too obvious, but doesn't mean I'm not gonna cast at it. Beautiful fish, probably in the 18 and a half inch range. Nice 3.5 pounds, awesome fish. This is why we come to the Susquehanna River. It's wild waters already, and the sun's just barely off the horizon. So let's go get some bigger ones, because I know they're in here, and they're smashing the spinnerbait, my favorite kind of fishing. This particular fish, once I got it in, I actually was able to see some very unique markings on it. Now this is a gorgeous fish. It's the actual kind of quality fish you come to the Susquehanna River to catch. But unfortunately, if you look on this side at its eye, it's got one eye, and you're gonna see a lot of fish in the Susquehanna River like this, and it has nothing to do with this river. It actually has something to do with you guys, with a new lure, the Whopper Plopper that catches smallmouth like crazy. Great lure, love it, catch a lot of fish on it, but the back hook does catch the eyes of fish a lot. And this actually goes for treble hook lures that have multiple treble hooks, topwater lures, but the Whopper Plopper, especially lately, as it's so popular, has caused this a little bit more in rivers. So one thing some people have done, since they actually bite it from the head, is simply take that back hook off, because they're mainly always hooked with the front hook. So that can help. If you guys out there could do that, we'll keep their eyes intact. But as you can see, she's still okay, she's living. Hey, we get nicks and bruises, and we fall, and we hurt too, and we still keep on ticking, and she's gonna keep on ticking as well. As I'm sitting on the river this day, I look around, and it's just so incredible. I cannot believe how wide this river is, how shallow it is, and just all the structure. And it's not enough for me just to catch the fish. You know, I've got to learn more about the fish and the entire river and how they both kind of intertwine. So to learn more about this, I decided to head to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. They're located right in downtown Harrisburg. I stopped in there, and they were happy to explain to me more about this river and more about the conservation that they do. So as I've been up here on the Susquehanna River this week, I've got to learn more about it. You know, we obviously are catching tons of smallmouth bass. They're big and the environment is perfect for it, but how in the world did this come to be? So what I did is I called in the experts. I've got Harry Campbell here from the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. You know as much about this river as anybody, so please explain to me, how in the world is a river this wide and this shallow and just perfect habitat for smallmouth?
It's a crazy river system. It's been around for millennia. And prior to the last ice age, it actually flowed right into what would then be the Atlantic Ocean. But today it flows 444 miles from Cooperstown, New York, to Havre de Grace, Maryland, and it represents the largest source of freshwater entering the Chesapeake Bay. But along the way, right here, there's 18 million gallons of water that flow by every minute on an average day that go into the Chesapeake. There are actually, because of geology and ecology and the way things have formed, there's literally 3 to 5 individual river systems, habitats, in this roughly 1 mile stretch, if you will, across the river right here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Super diverse.
It's super diverse.
It's probably good for the fishery to have such diverse life and habitat and different ecosystems flowing into it.
Exactly. So depending on where you go in the river, you're going to get different types of fish, smallmouth bass, muskie, walleye. All of these have different preferred habitats. And they're right here, right in this little river.
Amazing. So Harry, you know, I'm an angler. The folks that watch the show, we obviously love fishing wild waters, but I also think we're very educated and we want to learn more. We want to conserve. We want to do the right things. And you guys at the Chesapeake Bay Foundation are doing a lot of the right things. Many rivers have river keepers. You guys are the Chesapeake Bay, the entire Bay Foundation. So how are you guys different from a river keeper? And what do you guys do exactly over there?
Yeah, well, we do a lot actually. And ultimately what we're trying to achieve is we're trying to restore the health and condition of the Chesapeake Bay. The bay has been degraded over the course of decades because of human influences, things that we've done, whether it be poor fisheries management or excess amounts of pollution entering in the river, into the Chesapeake Bay.
Right.
Because the Susquehanna River is the largest source of fresh water entering the Chesapeake Bay, it has a profound influence on the health and condition of the bay. And so what we in the Pennsylvania office of the Chesapeake Bay Foundation try to do is we try to educate and provide understanding about what we do and how what we do every day has an influence on our rivers and streams.
Right.
We reach out to the communities on how we can do better, how we all as a society can protect our water resources. We restore. We have 6 field staff that are out actually planting trees and working with farmers and communities to restore the health and condition of our rivers and streams, to make them better in their communities and in their economies. And we create and engage with policymakers and decision makers in general about laws, regulations, and rules and things that will help preserve and protect the rivers and streams that flow into the Chesapeake Bay.
Great stuff. That's really great information. One thing I want to hit on is a lot of folks out there don't really understand about how, you know, land, you know, a farm 5 miles up and some teeny little trickle, you know, just a drainage ditch can affect the water that actually comes in. So you guys are doing a lot of stuff that's well beyond the river banks that we see right here, and that's really the biggest impacts we can have. And that's why we need to understand what we're doing far away from the rivers always flows into the rivers, it always affects it. So in your opinion, what is the biggest threat right now to the fishery?
Nutrient pollution for sure, as well as emerging contaminants that have hormonal-like activities that cause intersex, as well as stress that ultimately leads to susceptibility to disease. So some of those concerns are really emerging as the science is being undertaken. However, we know that nutrients and sediments from the land entering into the rivers and streams cause stress to the fishery, as well as the Chesapeake Bay. And so if we address those sources, if we start at the source and address those pollution sources coming off of agriculture, coming off our suburban and urban landscapes, we will incrementally improve and ultimately restore not only those rivers and streams, but the Susquehanna River as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, it's fishing great right now. It's an incredible wild fishery. And you know, everybody out there hooked to wild waters, get up here and fish the Susquehanna River. I'm telling you, it's worth your drive. And especially if you have a kayak, it's an incredible kayak fishery given how shallow it is. So thanks again for your time.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
At this point, I'm fairly close to the bank of what's an island. So I see some grass over there, and I see a little calm area behind the grass. Again, super clear water, and what looks to be just a bunch of small rocks over there. I make a cast in there, even though it's only about 6 inches of water, and all of a sudden, wham! Oh yeah! She came out, she was laying there. Oh yeah. Oh, she came off. She was just laying there, hiding, camouflaged, like the sand color. She just came out of nowhere. So I'm thinking now, after losing a big fish around the grass, that maybe that's where the big fish are kind of hanging out, the biggest ones near the grass. And I find a bunch of sections that have some cool little creeks just flooding through the grass and some islands. And I decided to get out and wade. It's just a great tactic. I'm kind of wading my way upstream, making casts. This feels great when it's so hot outside. That's what's cool about the Susquehanna being so shallow in the summers. You can get out and wade. We're hitting these little pockets of grass. And if you notice, I always let my spinnerbait hit in the grass and then I roll it off nice and quiet and subtle. Kind of wading my way upstream, making casts, and I'm swimming a Z-Man Streakz just right along the edge, throwing a buzzbait right along the edge, just really crushing it. And after so long, you just gotta realize that, hey, this isn't where they are. And that one fish was there and I missed it, but this is not a pattern. It's not a true pattern. I'm just not getting bit. So I'm gonna change plans. I'm gonna go back upstream and fish more of the rocks. I'm now paddling and making my way to the middle of the river. And this is oftentimes an area that doesn't get fished as much. And the section I'm in now, I'm getting into some larger rapids. So you definitely know no one's fishing this unless they're pretty much in a kayak. I get in there and it's a very wild place. You got rapids and just swirling different currents. You got small islands, you got some larger islands, but these small islands have actually some trees on it. And at one particular spot, there were some overhanging limbs where some trees were kind of going right over the back of the island. A perfect calm spot was being made by the island, a nice current break. I throw my lure right up in there, and just after a few cranks, I mean, you can tell she was ready to ambush. Wham, she nails it. Oh yeah, good fish. She's jumping, going crazy. I can tell this is a big trophy smallmouth. This is the entire reason I came to the Susquehanna River. Stay on. Woo! Woo! Yeah! Right where she should have been. Right where she should have been. You know, in some of the wildest water I've ever fished, I mean, just look around. This looks like something that came out of Dr. Seuss's head. This is insane. And catching beautiful, tall, fat smallmouth like this could not be a better ending to my day. And you can clearly see, I mean, look around, why I'm hooked on wild waters.
Drew Gregory's Hooked on Wild Waters has been brought to you by River Bassin Tournament Trail. No egos, just fun. Jackson Kayak. We make fun. GoPro. Be a hero. Bending Branches. Pretty, smart paddles. Orion Coolers. Never lose your cool. 13 Fishing. Make your own luck. Z-Man Lures. The science and art of fishing.